G'day everybody, my name is Lukey and I'm a Streamaholic.
Hello everybody, my name's the Warship and I'm a Streamaholic.
Welcome everybody, we are live for another episode of Streamaholics, episode 7. Wowee! I hope everyone's really well. Shippy,
Yes.
Shippy, how are you doing, mate? How's your week?
I'm doing really well. I'm doing really well. How about yourself?
Yeah, pretty good. I was just saying to you before, it's been a very quick week as usual. A blink and all of a sudden it's Friday again, which is fine by me.
Yes. Yeah, no, I absolutely love being here for this stuff. So for me, I always look forward to it. Yeah, it's real good. It's real good. So I'm looking forward to seeing how we go today. We got a lot of stuff to cover, and I think there's a lot of positive stuff to cover as well.
Yeah, no, looking forward to getting stuck into it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a few different random topics in here we've got from the community, and also some stuff that we've come up with, and we've also got kind of little segments to do this week. We started with them last week, and I might have done a couple of little things to try and get them looking really flash for you guys to entertain you. So we'll yeah, hopefully get stuck into those, and hopefully you'll like them. But if you don't, they're probably staying anyway. Just if I'm to be honest.
Probably not going to be changing them. Yep.
Yeah, so welcome chat, welcome. You can always drop in some questions in the chat as we go. We'll properly get to chat questions towards the end though, but feel free to join in the discussions in between chatting. We're always keeping an eye on what's going on. Even if we don't respond to you, we're always taking it in. So yeah, keep up the chats.
Absolutely. So we have a few things that we want to cover today. Aside from sort of our general roundup of the week, we have a few things as well. A couple of questions from the Discord, and yeah, just some kind of conversation about some of the new stuff that's appeared over the past few days in the entertainment industry, as far as what we do here in content creation. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. So I don't know if you want to start with sort of our around the grounds.
Yeah,
and we'll go from there.
So we've got the around the grounds that we started last week. If you don't know what that is, that's going to be just around the grounds of the streaming platforms and what's going on in the streaming world. Not just Twitch. We do speak a lot about Twitch, but as a advocate for platform diversity myself, I like to speak about all the things. I'm always excited about what's going on around the industry, so we'll get into the around the grounds. All right, around the grounds. Welcome to around the grounds. First off, I've got some news here, and this is going to be not as professional as me reading off a teleprompter, because I'm literally reading off my phone, but I've taken down notes, so we'll get stuck into the first point here and then see what Shippy has to say about that. I've got this is kind of loosely streaming related, but it's interesting news. I found it really interesting as well. Netflix has hired former Facebook gaming executive Mike Verdu to head up its future gaming division. Apparently Netflix has been saying for about the last 12 months that they're going head on in and investing a lot of money into the gaming division of the platform, and I thought that was a really interesting thing, which I didn't quite know about until I read the news this week. Apparently gaming will have its own category within the actual platform. It won't cost any more for the Netflix subscription, so no change there. There's just going to be a section dedicated to games, and apparently it's not just adaptations of TV shows and movies of games. Apparently it's actually going to be a gaming section with some form of gaming going on in that department. So a lot of rumors are going around that they're going to have some, say, story-based choose your own adventure style games, probably a little bit like the Black Mirror Bandersnatch that they had last year, I think it was. So we might see some more stuff in that area, but the way it relates to us here as Streamaholics is obviously we're going to see people streaming playing Netflix games while streaming. What do you reckon, Shippy? What's your thoughts on Netflix entering the gaming space?
That's really interesting, because I had heard the gaming side of things, but I haven't even considered the fact that we'd get people playing Netflix games on an Amazon-owned streaming service. To me, that's really interesting, and it does It does even ask the question if we'll be allowed to do it. But I think that in terms of games, we're probably not going to find a lot of diversity when it comes to the games themselves. It'll probably more so be the content, because there's only so much you can do. Like when you're doing this, I'm not using a controller, obviously, but there's only so much you can do when you're doing that in general. So unless they decide to release a peripheral as well, like a controller, which is not outside the realm of possibility. Once they do that, it all opens up. If you get like this, all of a sudden you get your Netflix Xbox style controller. We'll call it the Netbox controller for now. But as soon as you get yourself like that, it's gonna create like a whole different section there, because it'll probably start like small. That being said, though, if you think about the sort of the resurgence of older 8-bit style games, because nowadays you can play Super Nintendo, you can play Nintendo, you can play Sega, you can play Atari, all these things with a simple USB plug and play for your television. It's really not outside the realm of possibility with how big Netflix is and how big its servers are and all that kind of stuff. It's not really outside the realm of expectation that you might be able to say that in like a year's time, or even less, that you'd be having like a Netflix controller that would go straight to wireless, that go straight to your television or your Chromecast or whatever it might be, and then go from there. And like as well, the other point that I was going to make as well, which has actually just been brought up in chat, is that we've already seen games on the platform, like Minecraft has story mode. There was also some Telltale games. So I mean, Telltale has kind of been gone ever since the Batman series. I'm pretty sure they actually folded, but that could see the rise again of your Telltale style video games. And it wouldn't take very much to do that.
It seems like that'd be the easiest to adapt initially, and at least.
Absolutely. And that's something that we could definitely see. Even though they're folded, I mean, I'm sure Netflix could afford them. You know what I mean? Like if Netflix said, hey, give us your library of Telltale games, it's folded, but surely someone owns the IP for it now. And just, give us your list, give us everything. We'll rebrand them as Netflix, and we'll make a few changes here, maybe some graphical updates. And there's no reason why you couldn't do that at all. And that'd be a good way to dip the toe in. But like I said, surely we're not far away from something that you can get that plugs as a USB straight into your television, that allows you to just play Netflix on there as well. And then who knows, with this with the Valve deck being announced as well, the facility to play your Steam library on a device that looks like a Nintendo Switch. Surely you could roll back just a little bit, just a tiny little bit in quality, and you could still have pretty much what you've got, except on a screen, on your television screen, like dun, dun. And then to me that equates straight to the old PlayStation sound. That horrible ear-destroying sound we used to get.
It's going to be interesting to see. Like, they didn't really announce any information yet. It's only been he's only just been signed on to head the gaming division, so it's going to be really interesting just to see what type of games they get into. Like, is it going to be Telltale? Will they go into games where they will need a controller, like full-on games? Like, I imagine sort of like indie quality games might start appearing on there if they're developing them themselves. Like, I don't know. So we'll have to keep an eye on that that space to see what actually comes of it. But just another gaming platform out there, which is I don't know. There was talk in the Discord today about and on the Goal podcast this week about gaming and how it fits into what do you call it, like the mainstream mainstream thinking about whether mainstream still looks at gaming as like a bad thing. And it's just really, really cool to see all of these gaming starting to creak into everywhere you look. Like the fact that YouTube and Facebook and these other platforms are actually investing such a lot of money into the gaming sphere. It could have been any form of content creation, but all these big companies and Amazon's leading the charge with that. Like, the fact that they're actually investing all of this money and Netflix now into gaming when it could have been any sort of industry is really, really cool.
I think it's just massive. I think like the industry itself is huge, and like, you know, everybody that I speak to watches Twitch now, and even people I never used to speak to who I've now gotten and connect with again after a long time. They're like, oh yeah, I watch this person on Twitch, and the reality is that, like I said last week and probably the week before that as well, there is something to be said for watching your celebrities on a television show and being able to have them talk back to you. There's something to be said to be able to go and find, like, you know, a famous basketball player or whatever it might be, and be like, hey, you playing FIFA or something, and then have them be like, yeah man, it's kind of cool, you know, like there's an element of like, it's something, it's almost voyeuristic, you know, because, you know, you're getting to know them on a personal level. You get to see what their house looks like, you know, like you're welcomed into their home. And then they have a conversation with you. It's not creepy, so it's okay. But yeah, there's definitely like this thing that television doesn't have. And I think that's really, really interesting, really, really intriguing as it relates to the future of entertainment. I think that you're going to find that we're going to lean more into this and less away from this from here. So for the people who, you know, hands up in the world, because obviously I can't say hands up in the room or hands up in the chat, but who watches TV? Who watches normal television anymore?
Oh, no,
my hand
not
is
normal TV.
firmly down. I don't remember the last time I even connected my antenna.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. Like, there's no need for it. I can watch YouTube for everything I like entertainment-wise, and then later on the night, I can put Netflix on.
Yeah,
and then I can support my friends during the day on Twitch. You know, like so my entertainment is covered.
Yeah.
Like, and then for music, it's Spotify. I don't listen to the radio anymore. So you don't have any of it. You know, you don't have your TV, you don't have your radio. That generation is slowly but surely going away, because you know what, I want my things and I want them right now. I don't want them later. I don't want to have to pick, I have to wait until 7:30 before I can watch The Simpsons. I don't want to do that. I don't watch the show now. I want to get on there and do it now. This isn't even my rants, this is just me talking. But you know,
just a mini rant, this one.
Yeah, it's a mini one, but I want to be able to, you know, I want to be able to get that content and have it now. You know, I don't want to have to wait for it, and that's what these services offer. And so, you know, if you translate that to video games, and all of a sudden this has Netflix on it. This is broken, very, very, very bad phone. Red Magic, please send me a new phone. But when it comes to like things, this has Netflix on it. There's no reason why I couldn't get myself a little clicky bloop peripheral, and all of a sudden I'm sitting at work, which is Twitch. But I'm sitting at, you know, on a bus or whatever it might be, and I'm playing a game. You know, like you could get something so small, like you've seen, like your Joy-Con controllers. There's no reason at all that Netflix couldn't adapt a controller, probably even smaller. You know, with more buttons and all that kind of stuff, that you could just be like, clip onto the phone, any phone, you're done. And all of a sudden, Nintendo, their market share slightly decreases, because all of a sudden you've got another handheld console, and then when you add the Valve deck in, now you've got two more, and then all of a sudden there's a 3-horse race again, and that forces Nintendo to work harder, that forces Valve to work harder. And honestly, Netflix could become a fully fledged console by the end of this decade, easily.
Exciting times ahead for Netflix. I'm very, very excited for the gaming. Gives gaming everywhere. And who knows, maybe in 10 years time you'll see Lukey, Bangerz or the Warship streaming straight from Netflix. You never know where they might go.
That's the other question. So along with games, are they going to be offering like streamers on their service as well? You know, because that's the next step. That's how you take down YouTube. You know, providing a platform like Netflix with the facility to stream, like even if it's recorded content like YouTube, or live stream directly, then you're going after Twitch as well. It could legitimately take on. I think Netflix has the ability, like we said the other week, Netflix has the potential to take everything on. If it used correctly, it could definitely do that. And with them moving into games, that's really interesting. Like, that's a really, really interesting idea.
And moving straight from Netflix into my next point, we're moving over to YouTube gaming and mentioning them now. I've got to work on my segues. That was pretty poor. YouTube gaming this week started rolling out new features that Twitch users will be familiar with. Subscriber-only chat and chats polls. for all creators, and clips for creators that are over 1,000 subs, which, remember, on YouTube that's followers, not actual paid subscribers. So what do you reckon about YouTube gaming rolling out some traditional features that we're used to over here on Twitch?
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely rolling out some Twitch features, because honestly, the hardest point with YouTube, and I've mentioned this as well, is discoverability. Like when it comes to your like your Twitch side of things as opposed to the YouTube side of things, I can be on the recommended page right now. We could be recommended right now if we had like a hype train, or if we were being showcased by Twitch, whatever the case may be. We could literally be on that front page right now. Whereas with YouTube gaming, it is nigh on impossible to get on that page, and especially for a small creator. I mean, for me, compared to here, I'm a tiny creator on YouTube at the moment. I think I've only got somewhere in the vicinity of 300 followers now. If I tried to do my stream on YouTube to try to get a new audience, I wouldn't be able to get anywhere near the amount of people in that I get on Twitch, and that is purely because it's way harder to be discovered there. So them slowly but surely adding Twitch-esque stuff is only good news. You know, being able to do things like have clips, that's really, really good. All the stuff that you've mentioned in that section there, it definitely will make a big difference. But honestly, the hardest thing and the biggest hurdle when it comes to YouTube is discoverability. And I find it is 10 times worse, at least, maybe even 50 times worse, to get discovered on the YouTube side of things, because I don't go there for that. Do you go there for that? Do you go to YouTube and go, oh, you know what I want to do? I want to go check out some YouTube streams. No, you don't. What you do is you go, hey, who's my favorite creator online? Oh, PewDiePie's online. Oh, cool. I'll go watch one of his videos on that. Oh, wait a second. He's live streaming. Let's go watch the live stream. Hell yeah, let's do it. Like, you don't go to YouTube to check out streaming. You go to YouTube to watch people do the milk challenge, which I have to record this week at some point. Maybe it's gonna be horrible. But you go to see people do stupid things and you know, a bit of the old top of the morning to you laddies, welcome back to Happy Wheels and all of that kind of stuff. Like, you absolutely don't come in to watch streams. Twitch is for streams. Facebook gaming is now becoming more known for streams, but YouTube is streams for successful YouTubers. That's the difference as I see it. It's streaming once you've made it, once you've got a name, once people know to come watch you do that. But outside of that, it's not made for that. So while I think they're making good steps in the right direction, there's a bit of a culture shift that needs to happen. Whether that means streams have their own place on the front page of YouTube and actually have it in a way that you can actually take that information in. Or I don't know, but I think it's a good path. What about yourself?
Well, you touched on something just there at the end where you said that known creators, you would like, they're the people that would be successful streaming on YouTube. That's kind of, I don't know a lot about YouTube, but YouTube's the one platform that I haven't streamed to, and maybe I should to learn more about it. But in terms of the discoverability, I wonder if you were to, well, first off, the features, awesome. I love the fact that all the other platforms are starting to develop features that are the ones that they can pick and choose the ones that they like from other platforms. Twitch has done it themselves with a lot of the features you see now on Twitch come from stuff that we had on Mixer like a year ago. In terms of the channel points and hype trains and stuff like that are very similar to stuff that Mixer had at the time. So the fact that these platforms are picking and choosing the features that they like themselves and bringing them to their platform if they can is better, because the one thing as a viewer of streams on YouTube that you hear about is that it's very limited in what you can do. It's the same with Facebook gaming as well to a degree. So the fact that they're adding more things in there to adding more features in there to make the experience of watching streams on the platform is a big positive for future viewership and for the audience that's there at the moment. In terms of the what I wonder with YouTube, and I might have to do some research on this, because I don't watch live streams. There are some big creators that I will watch live streams, but they're never live when I'm awake, so I'll actually watch their bits and pieces of their live streams as a VOD, which is something I don't do on Twitch, so that's interesting. I wonder if that's just because of the way YouTube is initially. But I wonder if the YouTube algorithm, like I was saying the other week, if you watch live streams and make a habit of finding the live streams on Facebook and watching them over and over again, it'll take like a week before. Now, when you open up your Facebook gaming app, you'll have a Facebook app, sorry. You'll have a gaming tab down the bottom, and a lot of your timeline will be filled up with suggested live streams. I wonder, and I might have to do some testing on this, is if you can find the bloody live streams on YouTube starters, because that's the hardest part.
Absolutely.
I don't know what it is with the live streams there. Once they figure out how to push that, and maybe they don't want to, maybe they're happy with the way they're growing that side of things. Right now you've either got to rely on viewers that actually go searching for live streams and finding them, or you've got to rely on creators that create other content and then happen to go live. So I wonder, and this is the test that I might have to do, just like Facebook, if I go searching for YouTube live streams and find them, and just, even if I'm not watching them, just chuck them on in the background for a test over the space of a week. Now when I start coming to my YouTube app and opening it up on my phone, will it now actually have live streams now in straight there on the? Obviously, I'd have to subscribe to them, because that's usually who you get suggested. I wonder if that's how the algorithm works there too. So, like I was saying with Facebook the other week, the actual app itself becomes a completely different platform in the way it's used after you've trained the algorithms. So I wonder if it's like that for YouTube. I bet it is. Like my prediction is that it would work like that, but I don't know a lot about the live streaming part of YouTube. Not enough to know whether that's a thing, but that's just a prediction of mine. I might have to do some testing on that and get back in the next couple of weeks.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head, honestly. I really, really do. Because if I think about my experience with YouTube, I don't think about, hey, I'm going to watch streams. I go back and I watch VODs as well. Like, I know I used the example before of PewDiePie. I actually do watch his content a lot. I really enjoy his content. Yeah. He's the number one. He's the guy. Like, you cannot argue the fact. No matter what you think about him as a person, which most people would have a very skewed opinion of him anyway, because it's not the person. But if you look at the person, and you have to recognize 100 million people are subscribed to this guy. So there's definitely something to be learned from him. That's how I take all of my content on. Is there something to be learned, you know? So I look at his, and to be honest with you, I don't watch the VODs live. I don't watch the streams live. I'm often awake for them at the moment, but I don't watch them live. I go back and I watch the VODs. Now, I believe that you hit the nail on the head, because how I feel that we view YouTube is we view YouTube as a video service. We don't view it as a live streaming service at all. The reason you go back and watch the VODs instead of watching it live isn't because you can't watch it live. It's because that's how you watch content on YouTube. You watch it as a video, whether it's a VOD on demand or if it's a 10 minutes and 4 seconds video to get the algorithm correct on, or whatever it might be. Like, that's how that is entirely how you have that content delivered to you. That's going to be real hard to break. It's going to be a real hard thing to break, because that is in here. Yeah,
it is. It's a mindset thing and a culture thing, like you said. Like, I know right now, just as you're saying that, I find it annoying to find the live streams. So it's amazing the way today's world works. If it's going to take me 20 seconds to find it, I won't look for it. If I want to watch live streams, with Twitch, it's in the culture. So I think it's kind of on YouTube to figure it out. I think moving forward, if they really want it to, it's doing really well, like that side of things for them. But if they really want to, double their audience in say 2 years time, or whatever they want to do with that side of things, like maybe they're just happy. I think as a platform, if you're creating other content or creating your 2 to 3, or even if it's just 1 10-minute video per week, and then also want to put your live streams there too, it makes sense, because your other videos can find the algorithms probably a bit better than live streams can. And then once you get people subscribing, then they'll get notified or have you on their, I don't know, will they have maybe your live streams won't appear there, I'm not even sure. So
honestly, here's the thing. Here it is. I guarantee you, magic. You want me to, I will give you the keys right now. YouTube, come here, come closer. YouTube, come here. Right, here's how you do it. Here's how you do it, YouTube. I tell you right now, if you want people to come into your stream and have your own YouTube stream content deal and all that stuff, create a different like page, right? A secondary page, make the logo purple. If you make YouTube purple, like, you know, if you create a separate brand, different colored brand, you will get people in there. Because right now I see red and I see videos to watch. If I see red as a logo, I automatically see that. And the shit, I tell you right now, if I go into my phone and I go to my apps on my phone, anything that has a red and white logo, chances are it's some sort of video thing. They're like it is guaranteed to be some sort of video thing on here. And that is purely because you've created that. You've created that mindset, and now that's what we think of. So if you want to get people coming in to watch streaming, you're going to have to change it, all right? And it is maybe as simple as legitimately going, you know, youtube.tv, which I'm pretty sure is the URL for the streaming side of things. But when you click that button, it changes the logos to purple, or it changes the logos to a different color that isn't YouTube colored, and you're done. You would 100% get people viewing if you created it as a streaming service that is also adjacent to the video content. Even if it is exactly the same page with a different colored logo and streams on the front page instead of videos, you're done. You win. Here's the money. Use the money to make the everything better. Give it to me also. But like you do, you win. That's all it is. Like. Okay. That's 100% how I think it will work.
That's not free advice either, YouTube. You want to take that? There's a commission involved for that, so...
Just give me a few thousand subs, honestly.
Oh, just a few thousand, and then you can get clips.
Yeah. Then I can have clips. That'd be awesome. Even just to get over 1,000 would be amazing.
And just on that, like the clips thing, I think that's probably something that will come to all the creators, I imagine. That's just like an initial sort of, we'll test it out with people, give them like a... Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's like one of those things like I don't know how monetization on YouTube works in terms of like Twitch has affiliate and Facebook has the level up program. Like what is on YouTube? Is there like a... See, I'd need to do more research on YouTube.
No, straight to partner. So there are different levels of partner, but they're not advertised levels of partner.
Yeah, okay.
So there's like partner when you first get it. Then when you get to 100,000 subscribers, you get a silver play button. And then you get different support when you get the silver play button. When you get to 1 million, you get the gold play button, and you get different support there as well. And then when you get to 10 million, you get the diamond play button, and then you get even more direct support there from the YouTube representatives. And then if you get to 50 million, you get the PewDiePie one, the ruby one. And they haven't made one for 100 million yet, I don't think. Actually, I think they did, but I forget what it is. It might be a black version of the silver one, of the diamond one, sorry. But yeah, so like you get different, like as you go through those tiers, you get different levels of support, but there's no affiliate versus partner as far as I'm aware.
And so when you start creating content on there, do you immediately sign up to gain commissions from adverts?
Once you hit 1,000, then you get monetization.
Okay,
you get no monetization until 1,000.
So essentially 1,000's like the affiliate. Yeah. So I
essentially
guess
it's partnered, but it's affiliate.
Yeah. Okay. So clips won't clips will probably stay at that level, I'd say, then, if that's the case.
Yeah, I wouldn't think they'd go below, which kind of sucks because then you can't have someone who's got less than 1,000 followers, you know, get on the beers or whatever, you know, the meme might be that all of a sudden you've got, oh, well, yeah, cool, here's my clip, awesome, you know, like you won't get that. And then those people won't get those views, you know, then you'll have to look at ancillary platforms to get those additional views, like your TikTok or your Twitter or whatever it might be. Which is a bit of a downside because anyone can view anyone's clips as far as I'm aware on Twitch.
I think so.
And you can share them around and things like that too. So maybe they'll change that in the future too. Because yeah, that seems like a little bit of a misstep. That being said, I am told it's fairly easy to get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I honestly haven't put the energy in yet. We did a few videos on kindergarten, and we're supposed to be doing this exercise series as well, but I have... With the baby coming, things have been a little bit stressed out. But outside of that, you know, I think constant uploading is the way. Like constant, like, you know, daily upvotes or every couple of daily uploads. And people who don't know After Effects and people who don't know Premiere, like myself, that can be a little bit overwhelming. You know, like, that can definitely hit you in a spot where you're like, oh no, especially if you're live streaming 5 nights a week too. Yeah. Obviously, the goal is to probably get down to about 3 or 4 at a max, and then spend the other half doing content to put onto YouTube. But at the same time, I don't want to miss my friends, you know, and I love being on stream. So that's my own problem. I'm addicted to my community.
There is the YouTube Shorts at the moment that's started up, which is kind of like their TikTok version, but obviously it's just for other creators. So I've got a friend that does he has started just doing YouTube in the last month, and he's someone who tinkers around the platforms and tries out different things. He used to do Lego building on YouTube and was starting to build a bit of a following, but it was he did motion capture Lego builds.
Cool.
Yeah, and it was really, really cool, but it took a lot of time, and he also owns a business as well. So but anyway, so he likes playing Apex Legends, so he'll do like every few days he'll do an upload of like a highlights of one win that he had playing Apex. And he doesn't even use a camera or microphone, so those don't do very well, but he uploads really, really short, obviously 1 minute, really cut together, entertaining sort of Apex clips as shorts. And he has got tens of thousands of views on some of them that hit. And that's just growing his subscriber base through that. So I wonder if you're not into doing the 5 to 10 minute, which I think YouTube probably wants people to do your longer form content anyway. But there is the shorts there as well. So if you only want to do like 1 10-minute video a week and only have time for that, there is shorts, and it doesn't have to be gaming content or whatever. It's up to you what your content is, but there is other options there for if you're worried about you wouldn't go to YouTube because you haven't got the time to put in X amount of videos per week or whatever. There's other content options there now.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to be able to say, all right, guys, so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk to you guys for the first hour, and then from there, I'm going to shut down the chat, and I'm just going to be, hello, everybody, welcome to the game we're playing today. It's this, and then do the recording, and then if I have to stop for anything important in the chat, I do. But I'd love to do that, you know, like once a week, so that I have then got content to put through. Honestly, it's because I run out of time between sponsorship conversations, between, you know, life stuff, between streaming, between making my OBS cool and new and interesting, and all, because, you know, this doesn't just happen. I don't just all of a sudden have the beers here. You know, this effect takes time to make. This effect takes time to make. Every little thing that I do on stream, it's not just a matter of just getting in and going for it, you know, like, and I spend a lot of time sitting there going like, what's next? What's the cool thing this week? You know, is it a dumb meme? Like, you know, like last week I put on that somebody touching my spaghetti thing, and like people just spam that in my chat because it's like 100 channel points. So I'll just be sitting there talking, and all of a sudden it'll just be everywhere. You know, but that's amazing. Like that's cool, but it's something different every week, you know, and like that's super important, I think, for me. Like, God damn it! Now, see, like it's. Yeah, all I'm saying is that, like, it's hard to find time to do a lot of the stuff that we do. It really, really is. And that's not me trying to say, oh, poor me, the streamer has no time. It's just that there's so much other stuff when it comes to streaming that people don't really take into consideration.
If you want to make a living out of it and make it an actual thing and succeed in it, there is a lot of things that go on. You can't just go live every day for a couple hours. Like, there is a lot of things. No,
exactly right. And there is like lots of little things that go into it, like lots and lots of little things. And yeah, it's just, I can understand why people don't do it, like who don't get into like the that side of things. But, you know, we really need to be doing it. You know, all of us need to be doing it if we want to succeed. Like,
definitely,
there's just no two ways about it. Sorry, I didn't mean to get so caught up in that particular topic,
that's right. But we went off on about 4 different tangents, but that's great. That's what we do here at Streamaholics. So we'll get on to the last round the grounds topic for the day. This one's going over to Facebook. Every week I'm going to try and find something to do with the other platforms. For anyone who's out there who's trying to or is trying to decide where to put their content, Facebook Gaming is testing new fan groups. Now, Facebook's always had groups attached to pages, but they're testing out a new Facebook Gaming fan groups with partners at this stage, but later on it'll be site-wide. It's a new type of group, so before you could choose the type of group that you are, this is a new type of group, a new category, so it has different features. And this group is going to be tailored especially towards the gaming, and it kind of gives your Facebook group page even more of a sort of Discord feel. Some people, if you're creating content on Facebook, it would be handy for trying to keep your community on that site rather than a different site if you find it easier to do that. I know I did when I was on Facebook. And so some of the different features it'll have there is if you're familiar with groups, you go into a group which is attached to a page, and that's where you try and send all your community to interact with them during the week. And Game On Aus has one called Mates and Games, which is quite active. So you'll have the discussion tab at the top, which is the page you go to initially, has everything that everyone wants to put in there, all the discussions that people want to start. And then you'll have little tabs off to the side of that. You could have groups, tabs within your group dedicated to different topics, basically, like Discord, so that you can keep all of your looking for games over here and all of your, we talk about Marvel Cinematic Universe over here, and you can keep it all there. And the two cool features that I liked most, actually, because there's kind of a workaround for the other ones before, is that now with this new fan groups, when you go live on Facebook, you will be able to, one, send that stream directly to that group as well, so it's posted in two different places, and so that your more loyal fans make sure that they know that you're live. But two, we'll actually have prompts when people enter a stream that aren't part of your community or haven't joined the group yet, and with an easy button to click to join your offline community. I think that was the last one I had on that one, so that's pretty much it. Just new groups for Facebook gaming.
Okay, interesting. Well, yeah, like I think that Facebook's really interesting. I don't utilize it enough at this point. I've got 16,000 people on the Warship page. I don't use it because no one uses Facebook anymore. Like, is Grandpa's platform. Like when it comes to like Facebook itself, not the gaming side of things, but like Facebook side of things itself, is really, really hard to connect to people in the way that we used to. Because these days everyone's connecting on Twitter. Like everyone's connecting on Instagram. That's where it's popping off as far as conversations go with people, like, you know, and advertising as well. Like, you know, I don't get asked how many Facebook likes I have. I don't get asked about my Facebook impressions. I get asked about my Twitter impressions. Whenever I approach a sponsor, they're always like, how many people do you have on Twitter? How your Twitter impressions go? How many likes do you get on your Instagram pictures? Like, you know, it's never, oh, you know, how many people like you on Facebook? Like, that's literally the last thing. In fact, like, I work with a company called GGWP who do a lot of my reach out for sponsorship and stuff like that. It's not even an option on their platform. Yeah. Like, you know, it's not even there. Everything else is there, but not Facebook. And it's because it is really, really difficult to get traction on Facebook. So the idea of Facebook having groups, that's appealing. But that being said, you're going to have to get those people in there. And there are so many people, like, you know, who just simply don't even have a Facebook anymore, and that can cause issues. You know, like one of the reasons why I never ventured over to Facebook gaming was because of the real name stuff, and because you can't have like a alias when you're viewing. Well, you couldn't when I was going through there. You know, so you couldn't say, oh, unless you've got your own page already. You know, I could go in there as the Warship, but then I would constantly forget to and go in there under my real name and be like, oh, hey man, how you doing? Well, hope your stream's going well. And they'd be like, who's that? You know, like, and
I used
like,
to do that occasionally.
Yeah, yeah. It's frustrating, like, you know. But the thing is that I think one of the major things about Twitch that's awesome is not the anonymity from a troll aspect, but from like my name on content in the content space. I am the Warship. That's who I am. Some know my real name, very few. In fact, over the 15 years I was a professional wrestler, I would say more than 70% of people never knew my real name and called me Jay, because that was my wrestling character's name. Like, I would say that, and not even out of respect, just out of purely not knowing. Yeah. And the same thing applies to Twitch. Like, it really, really does, is that people don't say, oh, hey man, my real name. They say, oh, hey Shippy, how you doing, Shippy? What's going on, Shippy? Even us, we don't talk to each other in real names. You call me Shippy. Like, there's nothing outside of that, you know what I mean? Like, that's just simply my name. So it's hard to get people into that Facebook's bubble, you know what I mean? Because if you're in a group, I presume you won't be able to have a page in the group. So you won't be able to say, the Warship has joined the group.
Oh, it did depend on how the person sets up the page. I know when you're setting up a group, you can actually stop pages from joining, but but you can have that option if you wanted to.
Yeah, okay. So then I would presume that at least maybe half of them won't have that facility. So then they're going to have people jumping in under their real names to get into this group, which then there are still a lot of people in the world who don't like, and trust me, I've been doxxed, right? I hate it. But there are still lots of people in the world who don't like the idea of having their real name attached to this sort of stuff. You know, and that's like, you know, there are people who refuse to open emails and refuse to go to certain Facebook pages and all that kind of stuff because they don't want to see their real name get used anywhere. And, you know, so there's that element of it as well. But I think overall, for the content creators who work on Facebook gaming, who have a fan base on Facebook gaming, who are already coming in to watch them on Facebook gaming, it is awesome. It's that separation that we were talking about between like Patreon and OnlyFans from last week and applying it directly to the content on Facebook. So for those people, amazing, the best service ever. Like, it will change and revolutionize the way that you get your audience into streams. You don't need to have Discord anymore. You know, it completely opens up the whole thing. And I guess the way that I was looking at it at the start of this tangent was from someone on the outside, but for someone on the inside, real big news.
Yeah, you often the point that I have in my head from the start of your rants, by the time you get to your end of your rants, you've always addressed it right at the end. I'm like, okay, that's what I was going to talk about. So the only thing I was going to say about that is that I think the way I'm looking at this is from the point of view of, if you're a content creator out there that's thinking about where to put your content and where to stream, and you've got to look at the features that are on that platform. Don't look at it from, will I be, like, say, like for yourself, right? You're on Twitch, you're doing quite well on Twitch right now. There's no reason why you would move to Facebook. And even if you only had an average CCV of, like, say 5 to 10 and you wanted to start again on Facebook, you would not look, and I made this mistake, at the 5 to 10 people and say, well, will I get those 5 to 10 people over here, but they don't want to use their real names and that. There's already an audience on Facebook. If you want to create content, that's who you would be gearing to. You may get some people over there, which would be a bonus, but I wouldn't be looking at it from that point of view. There is already a user base on Facebook. That's the people that you would go over and you'd be providing content to. So it's just another option. I started on Facebook. I went to Mixer. I've been dabbling in Twitch right now. I'll probably go back to Facebook just for its I feel that's going to suit me. I am a Facebook user. All of my friends and maybe it's because I'm a slightly skewed older than a lot of people, but I'm not that old, but just
no.
I don't know if it's because I'm from the country or something, but people in my sort of area or bubble, most of them aren't on Twitter, most of them are on Facebook. I don't know if it's a country, like we're just a bit slower up here. Maybe we haven't caught on to all the new things like Twitter. Like obviously I'm on Twitter,
newfangled Twitter yet.
Yeah, we haven't got the newfangled Twitter. So yeah, there's just features on other platforms like I was saying with YouTube. If you're going to create, if you really want to create 5 to 10 minute videos once or twice a week, but you also have an interest in streaming, YouTube might be the fit for you. If you're on Facebook, it's kind of similar on Facebook. If they've got podcasts available there now with the audio rooms that's been released as well. So there's other features that are being released. We didn't even really talk about that. There's an audio rooms feature that's coming to Facebook as well, where you can basically create a voice audio, like a podcast or a show. It's kind of like and I don't know much about this, but kind of like Clubhouse. It's kind of Facebook's version of Clubhouse directly on your page. And so you just got to look at the other features that are available out there and think, where can I make my mark? If you think somewhere like Twitch is, and this is where my thinking would come, if you think Twitch is going to be a little too oversaturated, and me knowing how I've been on Facebook, I know that I could succeed on Facebook because I was trending pretty good when I was there before I left. So knowing how it all works and all the other features that are attached, for me, I only stream twice a week. Like we've said this before, I will only stream probably twice a week on my own channels. The rest of the week I will be creating like I did before, I'll be creating clips, making 5-minute videos, and the fact that I can share anything that I want, like might be a Game On Aus article I want to share and offer my opinion to my community. I can put everything's sort of on there. It's like a website, and then my community, like my Discord, is actually attached to that same platform as well, straight off the side. So I like the fact that it's all kind of there. on the same thing. But it's everyone's personal. Like
Absolutely.
If you love Twitch as a viewer and you just hate the other platforms, like, oh, I can't stand YouTube and I've deleted my Facebook, then, you know, go for it on Twitch. Like, do your thing. Just know that you, like, to me, it is much more imperative that you try and find something unique and different to make you stand out. And Twitch, if you've got something unique and something can make you stand out and you're entertaining and you're good with community and you're the type of person that I'm not going to create other content, I'm just going to stream 30-40 hours a week, then Twitch is probably the way to go, I think. No,
honestly, like, having a think about it the way that, like, we addressed it just before, it's absolutely correct. Like, there's a big part of me that's like, all right, cool, so if I just do Twitch and that's it, and then that's my only mindset with it. So when I look at the other platforms, I look at Facebook and I say, if I was to bring my people now, I wouldn't be able to, right? Happen. So I'd be starting from start. But also on top of that, like, the people that I currently have with me probably wouldn't want to convert to go onto Facebook and then bring that Facebook community over as well. So it would have to be pre-existing stuff. On the flip side, though, from that is I've got a friend who just made partner on Twitch. He had a quick jaunt over to Facebook where he was offered partnership as well. And when he was over there, he went from having 60, 70, 80 people in a stream to 5 to 10. And that was a huge hit for him. He was still getting paid by Facebook and all that kind of stuff, and still on a good salary there, because when you hit partner, you get like a decent actual cut of money. So he was doing well over there, but he wasn't getting the viewership at all. And that's really, really hard. But he came back here, and now he's going incredibly further than he's ever been before. And honestly, for me, like, I look at the situation and I say, well, if I tried, I feel like the same thing would happen. I would have a good base of people who were here who would just miss me here, and then they would go over there. Some might come over for a little bit, but it's a very small amount that would actually do that. So yeah, I was definitely looking at it from that side. But if you're already a content creator on Facebook and you already have, like, you know, those keys ready for you, then there's no reason why you shouldn't be trying. You know, like, there's absolutely no reason why. Because to me, that whole thing, it seems like having Patreon, except right at your fingertips. And if you've got the community already, absolutely should be doing it. Like,
it's I think it's more for, like, so just off the side, your friend did they happen to come from Mixer, or they were on Twitch originally?
No, they were on Twitch, and then they went from Twitch to Facebook, and they were offered a partnership on Facebook, and that's why they moved. And then they went from maybe 15 in the first week down to maybe by the end of that month, because he did it for 1 month, and by the end of the month he was pulling maybe 5 to 8 people. So but that was going from like 80.
So a lot of Mixer people that might have been partners on, or Australian people that don't know the partners on Mixer, also got the offer to go over to Facebook when Mixer got bought out, when they closed down. And the same thing, I think most of them are now on Twitch. I don't know of any off the top of my head. That there is some Mixer partners that I still see on Facebook that are doing quite well, but a majority of them all came over to Twitch. And because that was good for them, though, because, like, if you went to Mixer to Twitch, usually you wouldn't find, it would be a better conversion rate than going from, say, Facebook to Twitch, or Facebook to Mixer, or any of those platforms, because they're different. But Mixer to Twitch had a little bit better conversion rate, but when Mixer closed down, all of those viewers came to Twitch. So all of those people have been able to come from, they might have averaged 100 to 150 concurrent viewers over on Mixer. They might have had to start with about 50 or something on Twitch, but that's a good head start. Much better than going, if they had gone to Facebook. I think same thing would have happened. It's just Facebook's kind of, there is obviously people that watch both, but not like Twitch users are going to go to Facebook, and vice versa. So if you're starting out from scratch from the beginning, then you've got a decision of which platform you think is going to suit you best for growth, and just whatever your the way you present content.
Personal preference when you're first starting off. Absolutely. And
a big thing for me was starting on a smaller platform. That's why I went from Facebook and then ended up moving to Mixer. It was the smaller platform thing. And kind of worked, but I went the wrong way around. If I had started on Mixer and went to Facebook, I might have been right. But, but starting out, once you've got yeah, once you've started to get partner or close to partner on Twitch, or even probably halfway to being partner on Twitch, I don't think there's any reason to switch platforms unless you were stagnant for quite a long time. Like, say you were 50 CCV and it's literally been like a year, 2 years, and you don't seem to be growing. I mean, obviously then try something.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like there are people who I know who have been on the platform for years, you know, like, and it's really weird to see them having not grown and not done anything different. In those situations, those people would benefit from maybe, you know, some new grass, you know, moving to a different pasture, just to test it out, because there are people who have been streaming like 10 times as long as I've been streaming now, like 10 years pretty much, and their viewership is 5 people, 6 people, and they got less than 2,000 people following them and things like that, and I feel horrible for those people, because, like, you know, I wish that I could help them. At the same time, maybe it's just the platform, maybe they just need to be on a different platform, maybe that will help, you know.
Yeah, in saying that, if you like, I don't know your friends you're talking about, so I don't know whether they had dreams of becoming something or making it into sort of a part-time wage or anything like that, but if it's just a hobby and you're happy streaming to your loyal 5s and 10s, obviously you don't need to worry about anything. Then you probably just definitely, like, if you want monetization early and you want to pay for some video games and you want to hang out with 5 to 10 people and it's literally just a hobby, then yeah, Twitch is amazing for that sort of creator as well. So
absolutely, way back to our thing again, way back to the credo of what we do here. You know, it's okay to just play. At the end of the day, if that's what you want to do, you just want to play games, do it where you want, have fun. Like, yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's the end of my Around the Grounds. It's not like a short little thing once we get into it now, but what do you want to get into next? Do you want to get into the meat that we're talking about, the main topic?
Yeah, let's get into the main topic.
We've probably covered a little bit about that already, but we'll from Slato Slato, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, in the Discord, we kind of just we kind of modified his question. He just wanted to know everything about streaming, basically. So we've kind of modified it, knowing that he or she, I guess, that's the thing with not knowing people's names, is going to get into streaming or wants to get into streaming. We thought we'd just talk about the things that you need to consider when trying to start your stream. So I'll throw it over to Shippy to get started on. What's the first things that pop into your head when you're talking about, like, getting started as a streamer?
Okay, so the first thing would be goal setting, but also understanding of those goals. So one of the big things that I found in the 12 months that I've been streaming now is that when I first started, I was very lucky. I was very, very lucky, but also I worked really, really hard, like I still do now, but I worked really, really hard to get where I am. Now, one thing that I've found since that point is, with new streamers coming in, one of the things they do is they say, hey, Shippy, how did you do the thing that you do? How did you go from where I am to where you are? You know, I'm just about to start streaming. I want to be just like you. What do I do? And the thing is that you can't base your success off of someone else, because if you run into someone like me who is pretty close to being a statistical anomaly, it's very difficult. It's really, really difficult. I got friends who who don't even stream anymore, sadly. There are a few friends of mine who started around about the same time I did, and through, I guess, maybe looking at the growth that I had, and looking at the climate at the time of Twitch and all of that kind of stuff, they didn't see the same level of success, even though they may have been as entertaining. They may have been playing the similar kind of games. They may have been working on their overlays and all that kind of stuff, and spending money on cameras and all of that stuff, but just didn't see the success that I did. That is a huge problem for a new streamer, because the first thing if your first thing you're doing is comparing yourself to somebody else, you're not going to have a good time. Because, like I said, it doesn't happen the way that it's happened for me over the past year. It doesn't. It's very, very rare. Everybody who's seen it says it. I've got friends who have just hit partner now, and they've been at this for years. And that's not saying that I'm special or better than anyone else or any of that stuff at all, because I'm not. at all. I'm just a guy. When I started streaming to nobody. When I started streaming a year ago to pretty much today, not far off, all I did was play Minecraft with a shit camera and talk to people about me and who I was. And for some reason, at that particular moment in time, that's what was needed in the world. Like you know, in my little space, that was what was required. And I was very, very lucky, and I'm so thankful for everybody who's come through and stuck around since then. But just because one person did it doesn't mean that everyone can do it.
No.
And I think that's a real big thing to kind of get down in your head first, is that goal side of things. The goal orientation is really, really important to have, because if you come in here and you're like, right, I see Shippy, he's got like 100 people in his stream and he doesn't even play games. All he does is talk. Sometimes he'll play drawing games and other times he'll play words games. I want that. I'll just do that now. When you don't get that straight off the bat, it hurts and it sucks, and people get real mad, and it's really, really difficult to see happen. I hate it. So I think having an understanding that not everyone is the same, everyone is different when it comes to streaming, is probably my number one thing. Knowing that you need to work hard if you want to stream as your job. Like, look at my eyes. My eyes, this is not normal. My eyes, they are bags, and then there is I. And it's because I work hard. I work every single day. This thing, I need a better phone. Once again, Red Magic, please send me a telephone. But I need a new phone because the battery on this thing is 33%. I charged it overnight. It happens every single day. I never make it to the end of the day because I'm in conversations with collaborators. I'm in conversations with sponsorship. I'm talking to my community. I'm in other streams. I am constantly doing something. So the other side is time. So yes, goal expectation is big, but you need time to do this, unless you don't want to do this as your job. If you just want to stream, if you just want to have fun and hang out with your friends and play games, it is just as simple as turning on your console or turning on your computer or whatever it may be and hitting the go live button. It really, really is. But if you want more from it, it takes more. You can't expect it just because you want it. And I think that's a really, really important thing as well. So that's probably my two starting points. I don't know if you agree with those or...
Yeah, no, 100%. Like the second part there, once again, was what I was going to mention. Is the first thing I would say is try and work out, like, initially, like, is this going to be a hobby for you, or is this going to be like you want to make it something? Like, and the thing I used to say was, like, if I could make this into like a part-time gig on the side of my real job, then that would be like that was my aim, like my minimum aim for streaming. But you know, I used to tell people, oh no, I'm just here to get community and stuff, and I just want to build a community. But like, yeah, I was one of those people. I can 100% say that no, I wanted to make some money out of this. I wanted to make a part-time living out of streaming, because who doesn't want to earn money playing video games? You learn all the other stuff as you go about how yeah, you do want to grow a community, because that's all part of it. Like, you need a community that supports you, and that's you can't make money if people don't support you and find value in what you do. So the first thing is trying to create value. But so find out first, are you doing it for a hobby? If it's just a hobby, then jump in there and get started. And I'll say the same thing too, if you're wanting to do it as a living, jump in there and get started. Like, doesn't matter what camera you start off with or what audio you start off with or anything like that. Just get in there, press live for the first time, like create a couple of overlays really quick, get in there and go live and experience it. Experience having no viewers for however long it takes you to get people to drop in. Like, my wife's in chat now. Like, my very first probably 2 streams, I sat there on my own talking to myself, because I knew that you had to talk. So I was sitting there talking to myself for like a couple of hours before she dropped in and was like, so how's it going? I'm like, first comment. and that's kind of how it works. So you got to jump in there, get the experience, and you can kind of work out how you're going to, or what content you can, there she is now, you can kind of create content that, or try and find out what content you're going to be able to create that's going to stand out from the rest as you go. I think you don't have to be perfect from the get-go. but you do actually have to, if your answer to that first question is, yeah, I want to make something out of this, like, then you have to be constantly thinking and writing down notes or having a whiteboard somewhere where you're constantly trying to work out new ways to stand out that you can consistently do that bring value and entertainment to the people watching. So you got to start looking at it from an entertainment point of view, I think, from that point. But I 100% just jump in and just do it and learn as you go. But research, that's one thing that I've done a lot of. I've probably done more research than I have streaming in the time that I've been a content creator. So just make sure you don't get stuck in a situation where you haven't streamed in almost 12 months and you're literally only doing research and that's it. So I would say, but initially I did like a lot of research while I was trying to get a PC, because I didn't have a PC. I literally am a console gamer and didn't have a PC. I would say, so I did that. I did PC. I built out what I had. I tried to learn Streamlabs and putting some overlays in there. I'm like researching microphones, so I got a microphone. I had a good camera, luckily, so that was a good starting point. And then, but I spent like probably, I'd say, good 6 months once I decided that streaming was what content I wanted to produce, because before that I wanted to do some sort of YouTube thing. Once it was streaming that I decided I wanted to do, I spent 6 months while I was gathering my tech, because I didn't have anything. And I listened to podcasts, I watched YouTube videos, and I literally just did that all day during work. I work alone, I have my own business, I'm into podcasts like all the time, so I was just 100% always just listening to podcasts and trying to get as much tips as that I could. And you don't take everything, you just take what you think logically sounds good or you can do. Do research. This is no different to trying to do any other job you learn, but on the job experience is always the best. Get hands on, get in there and start doing it as soon as you can. Yep.
No, I agree. Again, like when it comes down to personal preference and things like that, and the way that we approach streaming, I think that everyone's different. And when it comes to, for me, my own personal thing, once I had sort of stepped in and seen what I needed to do, I refused to let myself run a low quality stream. So when I first started, like the first sort of day, I had at least a decent microphone. I had a pretty rough camera, which I still have. I just don't use anymore. I'm actually going to be setting it up. It's right here, actually. And I'm going to be setting it up as a secondary angle. But it'll probably be like a black and white angle or something, so I can do the sad, this one at a different angle. Because I think that'd be kind of cool. But I had this camera that was okay. Like the footage is very, very, very old looking now, because even though it's a year old, it still looks it because of the quality of the camera. But I had a good microphone. I had enough of a good computer that I could play basic games, and I had enough of a good monitor system. I actually first started streaming. My first sort of month on streams, I had a camera mount, like a tripod, and on the tripod I had an old Samsung tablet, and the tablet was my stream deck, but it was also my chat.
Yeah, nice.
So I would use that as my chat, and then I had another screen here, and that was it. And then I got a second screen, and then I was gifted a third screen from one of my friends, and then we upgraded the computer and all that kind of stuff. But as we've been moving, it's just been upgrade after upgrade, growing after growing, because I want to be able to present a good looking stream. And now thankfully we're at a point where my stream looks pretty good. You know, from a stream level here, we've got like, it's a nice, clean, simple overlay. There's nothing crazy about it. You know, when I'm playing games, it's down to here. It's very simple. It's fairly basic, but at the same time, what that does is it creates an emphasis on me. It takes away from the wank of having, you know, look at my moving stuff everywhere, and here's my screen, but the chat is like this big here, and then I'm here this big, and then there's just purple or some other color around me. You know, like it reduces all of that, because at the end of the day, the stream is here for one thing, and that's me. And the same thing applies to everyone else. Like, yes, they may be there for the games, but they're watching you for the games. If they wanted to watch the games, they just play the game.
Yeah.
You know, like, so they're watching you. So at the end of the day, none of the other wank matters. Like, it really, really doesn't. What matters is the person. So why not make that the focus? Why not emphasize that with the way that the camera looks and the way that the stream looks? And yeah, so as soon as I could upgrade the camera, I did. And yeah, like for me, my path of success is different to everyone else's because I was able to buy those things thanks to the community, and thanks to the generosity that I had early on. And it allowed me then to make the upgrades I needed to sort of continue pushing forward. And it's all just been, honestly, just like a success, like the sticky tapes together. Like, it's just been like something else has happened right, and then something else has happened right. And there've been wrong things as well, but in general, it's just been good. So tips for when you start streaming is a really, really interesting question because it's not as simple as go get a camera and play game. Like, there's so much more to it. You go, hey, do you have Twitter? Do you use Twitter? Do you use YouTube? Do you use TikTok? TikTok these days is a huge way to get into it. Like, it really, really is. I watch games I have no interest in. You see, this is the point I'm making. I just saw the chat there. Sadie said, because a streamer is playing it, it's about the people. And that's the facts. That's the facts. It doesn't matter what you're actually playing. It's the people. I've come onto streams and played garbage games. Like, purely garbage games, like game jolt games that are not even finished yet. I have Facade waiting to play, and if you know what that is, Facade is this like horrible like conversation simulator that's made in like cell shaded 2D animation looking thing. Really? And it's got the worst voice acting you'll ever see. It's just, there's something incredibly like stupid about it that is fun. You know, like. And we'll do that. We'll do that real soon. I've done like, you know, Papers, Please, which is an amazing game, but it's not really interactive for people. Like, you don't really get time to do any of that stuff. I've sat there and played Marbles, which I abhor. I hate it so much. But I've done that for a whole stream. Like, you know, like, it doesn't matter what you're actually playing. It really, really doesn't.
No, definitely
and
not.
I actually find that playing the things I like never gets viewership.
Yeah.
Like Mass Effect, for example. I love Mass Effect. No chance I could break 50 with Mass Effect. And if I do, it's just 50. Like because it's just not what is interesting to people. What's interesting to people is not me sitting here with the controller. I can't find the controller. I'm using a hat. Sitting with the controller and just like, oh yeah, cool, chat, thank you. Like, that's not interesting. It's not. What's interesting is me going like, holy shit. Things are happening here. Everything's going wild. I don't know what's happening. Why is my computer breaking? I hate it so much. Who stabbed me? Was it you? Did you stab me? Like, oh no, someone stabbed me. I better kick him out of the thing. Like you know, like this is what's the stuff that you know, people like to see fun. And you know, if I can provide that, then awesome. So yeah, don't get caught up on the game you're playing, and please, just for me, don't just play a game because you like to play it and that's it. If you're trying to grow and the chat doesn't want you to play it, don't play it. Don't be pig-headed. Just try something different, you know? Yeah. Like these people I see all the time with 2 viewers playing Apex because they real like Apex, but then they come into my stream and they're like, "Shippy, how come I have no viewers?" I'm like, but your chat tells you they hate Apex. Like, you know, why are you doing the thing they hate? You know, so really when it comes to like streaming, I would say that, you know, find yourself the things you like to do, but also find the things that the chat likes to do, you know, get around them, interact with them. I remember there was a good, like, maybe 4 months where I played not a single game, like zero, not even Jackbox, not even Marbles, nothing. All we did was come on and talk, and that was it.
They can be the most interactive stuff you've got is just chatting streams. Once you've got a community that starts rocking up, they actually often like that.
Yeah, and just days we can sit down and just have a conversation.
Yeah, so like I've often in periods where I've been doing quite well on a certain platform, and we play video games, and people rock up playing video games, but there's nothing more interactive than turning the video game off. Or, you know, you start your stream. I used to start my stream out with like I'll try and just chat for as long as possible, and then we'll get into the games. But some of those streams will then turn into 3 hours of me just sitting there talking, and people loved it. The chat loved it even more than the playing the video games. But that, I think, probably comes a bit later after you started to develop your community. First off, you have to get to know people and bring people in somehow. So it's all about trying to find the content and the ways to bring people in the first place. So
yeah, absolutely.
Like I was saying the other day,
yeah, exactly right. Like I was saying that the last time we spoke about this particular thing is that all I did was create investment. That's how I got people to begin with to come watch the stream, was by playing Minecraft and naming pets and finding animals in the world and being like, I love this thing. No, nothing shall hurt this. You shall not hurt this animal. And then creating like a whole world around it. I'm going to build a cage to keep this animal safe. I'm going to build an enclosure and nothing's going to kill this animal. And then we got fan art for the animal. Then we got like, you know, like all this kind of stuff just started to pop up for it. And it was purely because we created an investment, a reason for the people to come back. People don't go, they're not, again, I've said it before and I'll say it again, they're not coming back. They're not coming back at all for your headshots. They don't care about your 360 no scopes. They don't. They really don't. And if they do, that's the different environment altogether. Like, you know, I was thinking about this before when we were talking about YouTube and the viewership. I was like, man, imagine if I went to YouTube, looking at how disgusting the YouTube comment sections are. Imagine if I went to YouTube and I just got like this, like, troll audience, you know, because that, like, if you look at the way that their comment system is formed and moderated there, you don't often see wholesome people talking on YouTube. Like, so I wonder if I started to stream there, if my community that I have there would end up being toxic and I would play toxic games. That's a really really interesting question.
Is that you're talking about like when you look at VODs, right? Hey, when you like on YouTube you look at VODs and the comments are just crap.
Yeah, it's just like report, like just everything's just horrible. Like everyone's swearing, and
I wonder if that's whether the live streaming is like that, because it'd be interesting. That's another thing I need to do more research on YouTube.
Yeah, I just thought about that then. But yeah, I guess that's sort of my perspective on it. And then I guess the only other thing that I would say is that always be aiming to provide content, especially if you are trying to make this a job. Always be trying to aim to, like, I try to post at least 3 times, maybe 4 times a day on Twitter. I try to at least get around my Discord community during intervals of the day. You know, I might try to say good morning in the morning, good afternoon, good night. You know, like I try to keep myself in the public eye when it comes to that stuff. When I am active on TikTok, which has been garbage lately, I do try to post at least daily. And on YouTube, you should be aiming for at least once a week if you're trying to make a go of YouTube. I would say 5 days a week would be the sweet spot. But once a week is still better than none a week. You know, and just having it accessible too. Like I've got a button that I push on my Stream Deck, which gives all of my URLs. Like, and it also posts them into the chat. So if this was connected to my my OBS, it would have posted a whole bunch of links in the chat for people to go and find me on. Yeah, like make yourself viewable everywhere. Like make yourself part of everyone's day, and that will help as well. You know, and like I've said before as well, be the person in other people's chats that you want to see in your own. Like create a dynamic where you're not using people, because again, I've had this week again, people coming in my stream and being like, oh, hey man, how do I grow a big community on Twitch? And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. Easy. I mean, you want that? I'll just magic. Like,
not by doing what you just did. First mistake.
Yeah. And they'll say, oh, I'm playing Apex right now, or I'm playing Warzone right now. I'm like, cool. I'm streaming it. Cool. That's an easy way to get banned from my channel.
Yeah.
Like, that's super, super easy. But they'll come in and they'll ask me, oh, how do I get people to come to my Discord? And no joke, they started to private message people on my Discord a link to their Discord. Yeah, like, and I'm sitting here giving advice. I'm sitting here like, yo, this is what you need to do. You need to interact with community. You need to become a good person, and really, really show that you care about people, not try to use them. Because the thing that triggered me about that conversation was he said, how do I get people to watch me? And I'm like, there's no get people here.
Yeah.
There's no get. They don't owe you anything at all. Not a single thing. There is nobody. The biggest commodity we have in the world is time. Like, people are giving of their time, their very limited time, to come and spend X amount of time every day, every second day, every week, whatever it is, to come watch your stream. They don't. There's nothing in this at all. Nothing in this that is you deserve it. Like that you have to have people there, or that you're owed people there. You're not. You're not owed anything. Like, if they come because they want to be there. Like, I've got people in here right now. Flavor Fade just like hosted this, right? Flavor Fade is everywhere that I am. I guarantee you, within 10 seconds of posting 90% of my tweets, there's a like and there's a retweet. Guaranteed, because those people are the people that support, the people you want. Like, you want those people because they believe in you. Like, but nobody has to do that.
No.
Nobody has to do that. And I don't expect it.
The people that you have that do that, they do that because, what was said before, you bring them value of some sort. They love getting around you and your community because of the value that you bring them. So you got to look at other creators that you like and think, well, why do I keep watching this guy? And like, maybe that's it. Internally, ask yourself, why do you keep watching this person or this person or this person, or the types of people that you watch? What is it about them that keeps you coming back? Because that'll give you the first clue as to what you should try to grow. But you just got to make whatever it is, just make it your own. But the bones and the skeleton of what you need to do is there.
Absolutely. Look, that's a really good point too. Like, having people that you watch and you look up to, that you aspire to be like. Even if you, like, for me, like, it's the classic where do you see yourself in 5 years job at a job interview question, where I'm like, have your job, at least. At the very least, I'll have your job. You will be getting me coffee. Like that's the response. Even if that's your perspective going in, which is a healthy thing to have as well. Like, to have aspirations and to want to grow and all that kind of stuff is absolutely. Even if the people you look up to now are people that you know that you'll pass in a year's time, whatever the course may be, look at what they do now. Look at their content now, because their content right now is where you want to be. Like where they are right now, if you're not there yet, there's a reason you're looking up to them. So look at their content. Analyze it. Don't just say, okay, so what he does is he put lots of hats on. I know what I'll do. I'll start putting lots of hats on. Don't do that. No, don't do that. Like, but look at the other person's content and be like, it's not just about having all the memes that I have. Like that's not going to change it either. It's not. What I do and what I bring is what you want. So you want to look at, like, okay, so he plays like Minecraft, for example. I'll play that for a bit. I'll see how that goes. I'll try to interact with my community. He's always in every stream. I'm gonna try to be in every stream as well. I'm going to talk to people like they're human beings. That's all really positive stuff. But not going, okay, so my name's Aaron and the Warship's got a W. I'll just make a little circle, a little logo in the bottom of my screen that's got like an A in the same colors. You're not going to take my overlays and try to make them your own or anything like that. But by all means, like, take like stuff that I do and make it your own. Like, absolutely, because that's how you'll grow. Just
the idea of like seeing some of the stuff that you have pop up on your screen, just the idea of having things that happen on your screen, that's the idea that you want. Then go and create your own shit. It's not Warships. You're not stealing his thing. You're not making Aaron Club pop up on the screen.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
But create your own jokes and that, and bring them to life on your screen somehow. Or if he's doing hats, the idea behind the hats is a raid, right? Yeah. Every time you do a raid, you put on a hat. So the idea there is he does something special every time there's a raid.
There's an action.
Yeah. There's something.
So do something. It doesn't have to be the same thing. It could be as simple as getting a board, which I had recently flagrantly to my face told that it was stolen by one of my friends. He's like, "Oh, I've stolen that. I'm doing that now too." But even if it's just as simple as like putting a line every time someone comes in or whatever it might be, like you've got something different, and it might be the thing that people want to come and see. Every time, and this isn't even a goddamn redeem. Every time the song Get On The Beers plays in my stream, my lights start flickering. Everything starts changing. We get this one, and we're all dancing around and doing these things, and then all of a sudden I'm vortexing beers. That's an action that you could easily apply to so many things.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason that you couldn't do similar stuff, but make it your own, make it yours. Yeah, that's the real key there, I think. It's just, I don't know. Like, I see people who come in and they're really, really keen and really, really headstrong, but then the second that they don't get like 200 people in their streams, they quit.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
Yeah, it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard starting out. and it's you know, we say try and get your mindset around how hard it's going to be and the effort you got to put in, but yeah, that is one thing. But some people just, it's in their makeup to be disappointed by things like that. So
yeah,
you know, it's hard. I wouldn't say, well, this probably isn't the thing for you, but it's why we talked about this a few weeks ago. If you're starting out as a creator like this, it's why it's important that if you really want to make a go of it and you really have a passion for it, is to surround yourself with other people that are in the game too, like becoming a part of a crew like the Anchor Club or Game On Aus, people that are all or other groups that you find that are really supportive of each other, that are all streamers or content creators, because you're all going to go through that. You all go through that period. Some might last for a bit longer, some might be really short and they start to gain some traction, but being around those people, you can bounce ideas off them, you can bounce support off each other. I think that's really, really important. If you were just doing it on your own to show your friends back at home that you can do this, and then you don't see traction and they're the only people that you talk to about it, and they're like, oh yeah, you'll never make it or whatever, or oh that's bad luck or whatever, like it's going to be pretty disheartening. While it's not going to take away that by being part of these streaming communities, I think it definitely helps having other people that are going through all the same experiences that you've been through or going through. Yeah,
no, absolutely.
My big one.
Like there are people who like bring you down, and here's one thing that I was going to touch on during my rants a little bit, because I feel like it's very frustrating and very important, but it's not really rant worthy. It's just more so there are people who are designed to bring you down, and it's the way they're built, it's their makeup, and what they'll do is it's these people who work in a furniture shop all their life, or these people who work at the supermarket or whatever it is, and they will sit there and they will shit talk streaming. They will shit talk content creation to your face. They will tell you that you're doing a stupid thing and that you're a stupid person for doing it, and that it's a fun little hobby until it's not going to get you anything or go anywhere with it. There are people who are just made up to do that. And most of the time, and this is no disrespect to anyone who it is, typically older people who have come from a place where, you know, we gotta succeed by the soles of my feet, by my shoes wearing away and the calluses on my hands. These people who their jobs have always been like manual labor and things like that, or I built this business from my ground up and look at all my broken fingers from it. And, you know, I love those people. Full credit to all of them, but the world is not the same place it was even 5 years ago. You know, it's not even 2 years ago. Before the virus hit is different to now. Nowadays, online content is way more acceptable as actual full-time work. A lot of people actually just work from home, so they already understand that being in front of a computer for 10 hours a day is actually fairly normal. Like, and at the end of the day, I can do more in front of a computer to help feed my family than I could ever do working as your plasterer or something like that. Like, I could provide better money doing that as well. Like, easily. Even now, I think that I could take a lot of those people on. And that's purely because of it's still hard work. Yeah. It's still job, and a lot of people don't get that. A lot of people don't get it. They think they see video games and they think childish, and then they think child's job because it's not a job, and then they think it's a hobby, and then they say, why are you wasting your life recording videos? And that sucks, but that's that older mentality of people that do that. So you'll have people who will get in your ear about that stuff. You will, a million times over. And being able to push those voices aside and just say, okay, so generationally there's a difference here, there's a gap. I'm not doing the same thing you're doing, I'm doing this my way. I think that's really, really important as well. Yeah,
definitely use it as motivation when people doubt your ability to do something, or say something isn't stupid, or it's not going to work, or that's your motivation right there.
Anytime someone's told me something's not going to work, I've done it every single time. Like, people, you'd never be a professional wrestler. I did it, you know? Like, anytime someone said you can't do that, it's just made me do it. Yeah. And right now, you can't be a full-time content creator. I'm doing it. I'm going to do it, and it's going to work. And that's honestly, you have to have that mindset. You have to. You can't let them win, because the second you let them in your head is the second you lose.
Yeah, 100%.
giving that self-doubt, you know?
Yeah, and that just really backs up what I said about finding those communities, because there's so many people out here that we know what's going on in the world right now. We all know in these communities that, you know, the era of the content creator is upon us. Like, it's not just people live streaming video games, it's people live streaming anything, chats, podcasts. There's audio podcasts, there's influencers on Instagram, there's TikTok people making money now, and this all comes behind the whole YouTube craze, which started well before that too. So and there's heaps that I probably haven't even mentioned right now, but the era of the content creator and people being able to create a living for themselves in front of a camera or in front of a microphone from their own home is upon us. It's kind of like the old school people that would I like writing, so I'm going to write a blog or something like that, and that turned into, like, that was kind of the stay at home and create content thing from like 20 years ago. It's just there's so many different things now that you can do out here on the internet. So there's people doing, you can create courses on things just from home. Yeah, as long as you know what you're doing and you create value, keeps going back to the value thing. There's no reason why you can't make it. But just remember that when the older people or the people that don't get it, that it's not you they're not right. They're the ones that are wrong. And if you're in these communities here that know what's up in 2021, then yeah, you'll get that support, and you'll hopefully just turn a blind eye to all those things, or, like we said, use it for motivation, but to show the other people. It's kind of, I feel like us, I'm going to say young people now, I'm going to put myself in the young people's category. us young'uns that know about the Twitch and the fact that it's a legitimate career, and we know about Instagram influencers and the TikToks and all of the different content creation industries that are out there, or sub-industries that are out there. I feel like the whole industry as a whole is kind of like trying to show the older generation that, yeah, we can make fucking money doing this shit. Like, it just seems to be like an underlying thread behind everything. Like, we talked about the mainstream and how they look at gaming and stuff earlier, and it was a big part of the podcast this week for Game On Aus, and I think that's just part of the mentality. We're always thinking about what the mainstream is going to think about us, and so the whole industry as a whole is all out here with that exact mindset. Like, well, we'll show you, like, this is going to be the next thing. This is the mainstream in 10 years time or 15 years time, whatever it is. Like, we're just in the process of showing them.
It's honestly, like, that's what it was said as well. It's about dragging people forward, you know, like making these people, like I said last week, like looking at NBC and BBC and all these other news sites, and their, like, retention and audience is somewhere in the vicinity of 50,000 people, 80,000 people, or whatever it is. And some of these are worldwide for their news site reporting. Yeah. So they're not like there's a lot of people. And then you take someone like Drama Alert's Keemstar, who gets millions every single video. And you've got to look at that, and is he legitimately like the number one guy in news reporting? Because these other people, they're not getting that. Don't tell him ever, by the way. Please don't ever tell him that anyone would ever think that. But, like, the concept that he's getting more views than all of the news sources put together, does that make him the best at news? Does it? And you got to think about that, and you think about that when it comes to like all other aspects here, entertainment. You know, you've got some of these YouTube guys putting movies together, and they're only like half-an-hour films, but they're getting like 50 million views on these sites. You know, like, does that make them better filmmakers? Like, and these guys are doing it in their homes a lot of the time. You know, lifestyle stuff, vloggers, influencers getting 3-4 million of views on a video. Does that make them like better homes and gardens now? Like, you know, like legitimately, like there's got to be a point where you realize.
I think it is. I think you're on the money. Like, this is today's guide. Like, better homes and gardens. Like, it's just, it's amazing.
It's ridiculous. Like, to look at like, I was just looking through now some of these houses that these people buy, these influencers buy.
Oh yeah.
And they are just millions of dollars. millions and millions of dollars. And like, if you look at the highest paid influencers and all the highest paid like houses and things like that, they're all influencers now. Aside from like your AAA list celebrities, everybody with a big ass house these days, they're all Instagram people. They're all TikTok people. They're all Twitch people. They're all YouTube people. There's no like the conventional artists now having those things anymore.
It's just an amazing time to be creative. Like the era that we're living in right now, where like, you know, 10-15 years ago, probably before the YouTube, so I was talking 10-15 years ago, and before that, like, if you wanted to be something, it was, well, you need to go study that somewhere or get a job somewhere, and then you might be that somewhere, you know. And in terms of entertainment, maybe someone will sign you up to write for the newsletter to show them the latest recipes if you're a chef or something, or maybe you'll get in a magazine, or, you know, these days it's like, oh, well, I want to teach people how to make stuff. You grab a camera, go start filming it, and put it on the internet, or an aerobics instructor, or anything. Like, if you want to create content now, it's just like anyone's got the ability. I mean, we complain about stuff being expensive these days, but considering that all of these things like cameras and that you can get a few $100s together and buy a camera, and a few $100s together to buy this bit of tech, and that it is quite cheap to have your own studio to produce whatever content you want. You don't have to wait.
No, absolutely.
You don't have to try and gain the eye of Channel 7 or some American media outlet to try and produce content one day. Maybe if you make it to that small few, you can do it now. And yeah, you might take a while to get to the small few that make it in the big time, but you can give yourself a shot just by creating what you want to create now.
Yeah. I mean, if I go directly to my insights right now, and if I go for the last 30 days, I have had 443,000 minutes watched of my streams. So that's in 30 days. I have 16,000, nearly 17,000 live views in the last 30 days alone. Now that is amazing, isn't it? Honestly, that is right up there with a lot of television. Like, it's right up there. If I go all time since I started streaming a year ago to now, I have had 2.96 million minutes watched. Like, that's not small.
No, that's amazing.
And 123,000 live views, nearly 124,000 live views. That is at a level of some television shows. Like, it really, it'd be a poorly done, like, running television show, but I'm not a big streamer at this point. I'm still learning. You know, I'm still growing. So if you look at those numbers, even just from that point of view, do I need to be going to conventional television? Do I need to be doing any of that stuff? I don't think I do. You know what I mean? I really don't. Because the simple reality is, so long as you got yourself a good enough camera and you've got a good enough setup and you've got people who want to watch, you can do the same shit that's being done right now. People always say to me, I don't understand how you do all of this stuff as if you're editing like a proper video. Like, how is this not on YouTube? How are you editing all this live? You know what I mean? And mine's not even that good compared to some people. Like,
the tech's amazing.
And there is so many things that we can do that we couldn't do before. And we don't really even need conventional media. That's the problem. It's just that I don't think we do. So when it comes to new people starting streaming, honestly, just look at the people you like and understand that you can do this. Like, you can really do this. And it might take work and you might lose sleep. You know, I'm right now running on very little, but you can do it, you know. And we haven't even touched on any of the other stuff we were supposed to be talking about today. But I think this is really, really important, this particular sort of conversation point, is that try it, do it, get in, enjoy it. Don't expect too much from it. But if you want to expect much, be prepared to work. Like, if you want to get the results, be prepared to try, because nothing gets handed to anyone. None of your favorite content creators loaded up for the first time, didn't speak to anyone, and just sat there and played games. None of them did it. So, you know, just be prepared to put the work in, is what I'm going to say. Yeah.
For sure. Absolutely. 100% agree. That's, we've got, moving on to the next thing, do you want to answer we've probably got one more question there, or do you want to get straight into the rants?
No, we got one more. We got one more. Let's go
So
one more.
the last question was, what did we think about the new announcement from Elgato with the tech that they're bringing out? So there's another good segue into the next story. Where am I?
So there's a lot of stuff that was released from Elgato.
Yeah, do you want to touch on that? Well,
there's a lot of new stuff that's come in, and if you are a tech head at all, it's going to be a lot of stuff that you will definitely use. The only problem, again, and I've said this before about Elgato, is that it's bloody expensive. So, like, there's a lot of stuff that's coming out right now that's going to be really, really cool. Like things like the Elgato Facecam. There's an XLR adapter that's coming out as well for the Wave microphone, which will allow, even though I don't quite understand at this point, because I already have knob on the front of my Elgato Wave. Like it comes with one, so I'm not quite sure what the big one's for. But I think it's you can set custom like effects to it and all that kind of stuff as well. So it works similar to a Go XLR, except much more basic. But you've got those two things. You've also got the new Stream Deck, the new 15-point Stream Deck, which will also have like new faceplates and all that kind of stuff as well. There's an arm, which I use a cheaper, not one myself, not an Elgato one. But that being said, awesome stuff as well. And I've also seen a few other peripherals as well, like a really, really big green screen hand, like a mouse pad too. I saw that the other day come out as well. So that allows to, if you have your games being like, you have like a down camera, and you're doing things that, it allows you to green screen stuff out from that too.
Yeah, right.
Which I thought was really, really cool. Yeah, really, really cool. But overall, I think when it comes to Elgato stuff, like you're going to be paying for quality, because like I use Elgato, like my mic is Elgato, all my capture cards are Elgato, like there definitely is a lot of Elgato powering my stream. My Stream Deck is Elgato. I need a new Stream Deck, a big one, just for all the memes and all the buttons that I push. And like things like my green screen is an Elgato green screen as well, even though I don't use it at current until we move into the new office. But yeah, the thing is with Elgato, yes, you could probably get cheaper versions of all of it. But it's sturdy. Like every piece of Elgato equipment I have is built to last.
Yeah,
it's not built to break. They make quality stuff. Now this Facecam is a 1080p 60 FPS camera. It is going to be better than your Logitech C922. Like it is straight up going to be better than anything you can get from EB Games until they release their EB Games. It will be a really, really good entry-level camera for people who want to spend some money, but not all of it, but still get the quality of someone who's spending a lot more money. It will probably rival my camera. And my camera's worth like $1,400. So it will probably rival my camera in a lot of ways. Maybe not for zooming or field of view, aperture and all that kind of stuff, but it will definitely be very, very good for your basic camera. And it'll be a lot easier to use too, because one thing about Elgato is that their software is just as easy as their hardware. It is very much so plug and play. Once you get your head around it, it's super, super simple. And because everything else will be Elgato, it should all interface well together anyway. But yeah, that's sort of my perspective on it. I think it's really, really cool. I especially like the idea of a Facecam mount. So obviously it must work via maybe Wi-Fi as well, like direct connections rather than plug, because you couldn't have a cable running from behind me over here and then down to the computer. That would just be stupid. So there must be like a Wi-Fi compatibility to it as well. In total, in total, I think it's a really, really good idea. What about yourself?
Yeah, no, I thought I like you say, Elgato is a really good product. I've got quite a bit of Elgato stuff as well. I'd love the key lights. I've got cheap key lights. They do the trick. They actually probably do the same thing. The only thing I want with the Elgato key lights is the ability to use my Stream Deck to control it. So that's the one thing that'll be cool about, I'm assuming, like with the Facecam especially. I did see the little video for the Facecam. I didn't look into a lot of the other products, but the Facecam did have certain filters and settings that you could change in some software there. So given that, I'm assuming that the Stream Deck will be able to control a lot of that stuff too. So just that the part that the fact that it all integrates with the Stream Deck, I assume will be one of the major pluses of it. The thing that stood out to me when I first looked at the article was the Stream Deck faceplates on there looked really, really, really cool. And I was hoping that it was some sort of a faceplate that you could just attached to current Stream Decks, because I already own 2 Stream Decks, so I'm not going to be purchasing any more Stream Decks anytime soon to get the cool face. So it would have been cool to have attached plates available on their own to attach to the current Stream Decks, but no, apart from that, I think the boom arm's really cool. I think because it'll have a nice fit with the Elgato microphone. They're doing a really good job of creating a whole bunch of products, which is going to make you want to grab the other stuff that goes with it too. Like, so
it doesn't feel forced like Apple do, though.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah, like it doesn't feel like you have to use any of the products together.
No. They're just like a oh, I've got a boom arm. This one here's a good one, so even if I had the wave, it'd probably fit. But if you had a different boom arm, like yourself, like you've got that extra connection on there, you might just one day you just be like, oh, well, I wouldn't mind the Elgato one, so that it sits nicely on the top. Or but the camera looks interesting. I think that's gonna do really well. I think that's probably the main thing that's gonna sell for people that are looking into cameras at the moment. There wasn't much else in there that I can think of that caught my eye, really. Just I like Elgato.
I originally saw the picture they posted with the of the Stream Deck, and I got really excited because it looked like it was a pull-out Stream Deck that had extra buttons. Like it looked like it was an attachment. You know, like it actually looked like, you know, this, which is what the Elgato sits on. It looked like that, except it had extra buttons out the sides, and that would have been an instant purchase for me. Like the ability to have like an extra 5 to 10 buttons, I would have bought that instantly, because the way that it looks on the website looks like that's what it is. Because at the moment I'm starving for a new Elgato, absolutely, for a new Stream Deck, absolutely. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Push the button on the other Stream Deck. But yeah, no, as far as things go, I'm everything else looks cool. It's like, what more can I say about it other than the fact that it's going to work? It's going to work with everything that you use already, and it's probably going to be easier than most things. I'm a really big fan of it. I think that in general, Elgato probably the best brand for streamers, because everything seems to integrate really well together, and everything seems to just work. And at the end of the day, like, what else could you ask for? There's nothing worse than streaming and something going wrong. You know, there's nothing worse than that. And my streams have a bit of a name for that happening. But I tell you what, it's never the Elgato stuff. Never. It's always everything else. So,
there you go.
Elgato, once again. Let's go.
All right. So I think moving on to probably our last thing for tonight. I'm looking forward to this one, as always. It was a big hit last week. The Shippy's rants.
Okay.
Just tell me when you're ready to get. So do you want to do the thing? Are you doing that beforehand, or you want me to kick?
Yeah, I'll do it beforehand for sure. So today's rant is difficult because it affects every one of us. It really, really does. It's frustrating as hell. But today's rant is on merchandising, and we need this one. So, right. So, the one thing that really pisses me off about merch and about merch when it comes to streaming is just the fact that it's so inaccessible for new streamers. What we do is we spend so much time getting, designing ideas and getting merch ready, because a lot of people want to have merch. Why not? Every single day someone's like, Shippy, when can I have new merch? Shippy, I want to have new merch. I want to have this. Can I have this? Please let me have a t-shirt with an alien face on it. Just let me have it. That's all I want. And I say, I'd love to, but every single place I go to, there's this like exorbitant like rule where it's like, no, the streamer's not allowed to make money out of it. No, you're not allowed to, because the shirt costs $26, and then you got to spend like $40 to get it, and then there's postage and handling, and it's never easy. It's never easy. The one thing that frustrates me about merchandising when it comes to this stuff is the same with when it was with wrestling as well. Is that you can't just go, all right, I want one shirt made and sent out, because I used to be a screen printer. I understand that you have to make screens for it. That costs extra money. You have to do all this bullshit, like you really, really do. just to make a shirt. But like, surely there's a way around that. Surely there's an easier way to do it. I went through Design by Humans as one, Streamlabs as the other, Stream Elements as the other one. I've gone through Redbubble. I've gone through so many different places, and every single place has this gosh dang like rule, this stupid tax about it, where it's like, okay, so if you want to get merch, that's fine. You can have merch, guy, but it'll cost you like $30, right? And then from there, on top of that, you got to go into this whole thing where it's like, yeah, so if they're not in the exact country that we make the shirts in, all of a sudden you got to pay a whole bunch of tax for it, and then they're going to pay postage for it. You were saying it earlier that you got merch done and it costs like $30 to make a mug, and then there was an extra $40 on top of that to get the shit posted to the person who bought it. It's ridiculous. I don't want to buy 30 shirts at a time. I don't want to buy 40 shirts at a time. I want to be able to get my people to buy one shirt that they want. And yes, as a silk screen printer in the past, I understand that you got to make the sheet. I understand that you got to make the thing so that you can actually print it off regularly. I will wear a one-time cost. Charge me $50. Charge me $100. Never charge me it again. Keep the sheet. Keep it there. Keep the screen there. All right? I'll wear it. When we would pay rent to stay there, fine. Give me $10 a month, whatever it is. But let me get one shirt printed when I need it and sent off. That's all I ask. That's all I want. I don't want to buy $200 worth of shirts every time I want to release a new drop. We're not quite at that point yet. And none of the people here are at that point yet. And that's the thing that pisses me off. Because no, if you want to be able to provide this thing, this little service to the people who care about you and want to support you, can you do it? No, you can't do it. I'll go to Redbubble. Go to Redbubble. Awesome. I'll go to Redbubble and get literally, I have sold about 70 shirts, I reckon, in my time on Redbubble, not through streaming, through wrestling. And in that, I reckon I have made less than $50, maybe $100 in the whole time. Because once you take into account, like, you know, postage and handling and all the other bullshit that's around that, it just doesn't end up working out. It just doesn't end up working out. And you do it anyway because you know why you do it. You do it for the people because it's less expensive for them and they get the benefit as well. But you don't make anything from it. And maybe that's the way it has to be until you reach a certain point. Maybe we just have to wear it. But then why am I spending all this time, you know, designing stuff and making it for people? You know, obviously because it's for them, and I get that. But it seems really unfair. And then you go through places like, not only is it really difficult already, and this goes right back to my first rant on the channel when it comes to stream labs, because when their thing, as far as they're concerned, yeah, you can have merch, sure, but if you want merch, you can spend an extra $20 a month just to have the right to do so. You can go spend extra money, get Prime, because we care about streamers. Get Prime, you know, you spend money so you can get a hat that you wanted to have on there, because you can't have basic shit. You can have a t-shirt and a long sleeve shirt, they're really shit looking, but you can have that, that's fine. But the second you want to get yourself a singlet or a fucking pair of tracksuit, I didn't even censor it that time, that's how mad I am. You want to get a tracksuit pants, like, you can't have it. The Streamlabs take a cut. They take a cut, right? Everyone does. Every single one of these companies do. And, you know, they've got to make the shirt. I understand that. But at the same time, you know, you're charging me to have the right, even the privilege to print off stuff. Like, you know, like, if you looked at it, I could go there right now. If you go to that Streamlabs website, there's a section for merch. Oh, molto bene, grazie, thank you so much. But then the second you try to get anything outside of like your basic 3 shirts, no. You spend the extra $20 a month, straight off the bat. And that's all there is to it. If you want to get it done at a fair price, straight off the bat, you got to pay extra for it. Everybody is gouging everybody else, and that's something that really frustrates me here with streaming. And it's not just merchandise, people. It's affiliate codes when it comes to streamers too. There's nothing worse. It's like, oh yeah, sweet, bruh, how about you try our new energy drink, man? All you need to do is buy the tubs yourself, and then what we'll do is we'll send you an affiliate code, and if 4,000 people buy it, you'll get, you know, a cut. Yeah, like, yeah, sweet. No one's doing that. All I'm doing is you're just using me to get maybe a sale here or there, and that's fine. But why are you making me buy the shit? Like, you know, like that's This is another point neither here nor there. That'll probably be another rant in the future. But my real focus for right now is absolutely the merch side of things. Because yeah, man, all I want to do is be able to provide my people with a place to buy a fucking coffee cup, or one of those, one of the ones that you open up like this that you put the cold thing in. All I want to be able to do is get my people like a cool hat or a beanie or a pair of tracksuit pants or shoes, dumb stuff that you can get from all these sites. But no, I either have to pay for it to even get the thing, to even get the right to be able to make it. Thank you, Streamlabs. Or I have to, say, hey guys, you can go get that right now. You can have it right this second, all right? You can have it, but you have to pay like $30 to get it shipped to you on top of the cost of it. Ain't nobody paying $60, $70 for a Warship t-shirt. Nobody's doing that. I wouldn't do that. In fact, I haven't done that. All the merch I've ever got from those places, I reckon I bought one shirt from Designed by Humans. No, sorry, one shirt that never showed up from Designed by Humans. And then another time I bought 2 shirts from there. And the only reason it showed up is because I sent them an email 3 months after the fact and asked them, where the is my shirt? Like, literally no response. And then it came like the next week. So they obviously had it quickly express shipped there because they knew me complain about it. But the reality of that is that on top of the thing, on top of the possibility that 1, you're going to pay more for it, 2, you're going to pay postage for it, there's also the fact that shit, some places just don't even send it. Like, you don't even get the stuff. And it just sucks. And the only solution that I can see to the whole thing is opening my own t-shirt company. That's literally the only thing I can see myself doing that would make it easier. And providing that service to all of my streamer friends. Honestly, I just don't see a way around that outside of that. I really, really don't. And that is the rant. Because, man, it's shit. Like, that's the rant. The rant is on the fact that we can't do something so simple as that for the people who support us. And I think that's pretty shit at the end of the day. Sorry about that, Lukey.
I've gone with the wrong button there too. No, that was a good one. That was a good rant. The Shippinator, I thought you were going to move on to other companies there right in the middle of it. I was like, I was thinking, should we save that one? That's another good one for next week. But look out.
But yeah, no, it just frustrates me, and I'm sure you understand as well. Like, you've got a shirt on there right now, like a merch shirt, and I bet you they're not easy to source, unless you work through like a silk screen printer who does like the sublimation and all that kind of stuff, and you've got someone who has a machine or whatever the case may be, or a t-shirt company. You can't just roll off and get a few shirts. Yeah. It's like a minimum 200, a minimum 300, whatever it is sometimes. And I know, as someone in industry, because I used to work in the industry, I know how little it costs to use the emulsion to make this prints. I know how little it costs to use your Pantone colors to put the shit on the t-shirt, and I know the shirts cost less than $1 to actually get. In overall, I would say that I could throw together shirts for less than $5 as a one-off without even worrying about it, without even skin off my back, like at all. Like if I had shirts already waiting, and I just grabbed one out of the pile knowing I spent 60 cents or whatever it was as a t-shirt, like, man, as someone who made the actual product, like less than $5, easily. And then they're like, no, but we can't do that for less than 200 because they want to make money. And I get that too, but it's hard on our end, because on our end, unless you're at a certain point, you don't get to do that. And it's one of those revenue sources that would really help a lot of people, especially people who are in situations even below my own or at my own. Like it's definitely a stream that would help. Being able to say, okay, guys, I get these shirts low key for about this much. I won't tell you, exactly, because that sucks, but I can provide them to you for this. Go for it. And being able to do that and just actually have people get a shirt in their hands for like $20 as opposed to $70, like, game changing.
Yeah,
absolutely game changing.
There might definitely be a market there, I think, especially like in Australia. Like we're having to use a lot of companies that are overseas, and that can be a bit hard for the viewership from Australia. I mean, I don't know. If you're from America and one of these companies, you buy the shirt off, the creator gets like nothing from it, but maybe the freight's a little bit more reasonable. But as a creator trying to make even a little bit of money off a shirt, there's definitely like a an opportunity there for someone to move in to that. And
absolutely.
so with like we don't even have with Game On Aus, we kind of do these in house at the moment. Like it's not a huge production where we are at the moment, so we do these in. Oh, and actually this one's not even off the store. This one was made by Simicat because she knows what she's doing. So like we haven't even looked into that sort of thing because we want to make sure that there's merchandise available, and that's kind of new for Game On Aus probably 6 months ago or more. Like sort of we handle it in-house over east, so we've got someone behind the scenes making all of that stuff for us.
Yeah, and look, again, that's sort of what you have to do at this point. Like, unless, because you can't rely on these places. Like, you can't rely on your red bubbles, and you can't rely on your design by humans, and you can't do it. It simply doesn't work that way. I tried to. When I first started streaming, I was all in. I had like the little picture designed by humans on my About Me section. I was constantly pushing them, like constantly. And then I didn't even get a Anchor Club shirt, like a Bullet Club style shirt from them. And I ordered one, and it just never showed up. And I'm like, right, the first order didn't come until I begged them for it, essentially. The second order, it showed up, never. I know other people have bought stuff there that has showed up. Like Bestia bought one of those shirts, and I think it took him at least 12 weeks to get that as well. Yeah, right. Now, I know it doesn't take that long to print a shirt. Like, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. It doesn't even take that long to make the screen. I can have the screen made and 50 shirts done in a day, easily. Like, one shirt with one screen, come on. Like, they honestly, and like, you know, some of my other friends have had issues where they look at it and they're like, okay, so I got this shirt and it's garbage. The print's bad. Like, the print is wrong, or it's torn, or whatever it is, and it's all hard to deal with. And then you look at other places like who do it right, like Cool Shirts, like the shirts I'm wearing right now. These guys, amazing Australian-owned brand, amazing brand. But to do that and to have their own merchandise, they've had to pretty much open their own store. Like, you know, the lead into guys like Max Mofo and Cold Ones and all that kind of stuff who get all their merch through here. They've had to essentially create their own store just to get it done. And man, I hate the idea of that. I just want milk that tastes like real milk. You know, I just want the ability to get that stuff and deliver it to my people, because there are so many people who want it.
Yeah, like, that's fair enough.
It's frustrating, and yeah, I just don't understand why it has to be so frustrating at the end of the day.
People just want to buy a shirt of their favorite creators. Like, it's the best way to represent the person that you like watching and the community that you like is to wear their merch and rep their merch. Thanks, Noth, by the way, for the subscription a couple minutes ago too. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you very much. But yeah, no, exactly right. People just want to be able to wear it. You know, people want to be able to rep that stuff. You know, like people want to be able to go like the hat, and like my Anchor Club hat. This thing here sold really well through ESC because it just legitimately has like the Anchor Club logo on it. Like, but people want to be able to get that whenever they want. You know, like they want to be able to just go and get it from the store and get it, not be too expensive, and have it. You know. And at the moment, there's currently the big hole in the whole thing, a huge hole in the industry for it. So maybe that's something that someone needs to get onto, honestly. But yeah, that's my rant. That's my rant. I think it's a good way to sort of wrap up the night, because I think we've pretty much covered everything we spoke about. So
we did. I think we covered it all in the end. We got through it.
Yeah. I didn't think we were going to up until about the last 20 minutes. I thought we were going to be very, very skint on a couple of subjects there, but we got through in the end. But yeah, Lukey, where can they find you?
Hey, you can find me everywhere at Lukey Bangerz, the same as it's written right down here with a Z at the end, because I'm cool. So if you're on Facebook or Twitter or Twitch or Instagram or where else am I? Wherever you want, you find me with Lukey Bangerz with a Z. Warship, what about you, mate? Where can we find you? And where and what name and all the things?
So you can find me mostly everywhere at the Warship, on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, on most of my socials. You can find me there because that's, you know, how things work. But that being said, on one place you can't find me is stupid Twitter. And that's because there's been someone there from like 9 years ago, the last time they posted. Not a single post since. One post 9 years ago with the name at the Warship. So you can find me on Twitter at _Warship.
Get him out of here.
Unfortunately, yeah, just give it to him. Come on, give me the name, please. But yeah, mostly everywhere else it's at the Warship, and yeah, that's all there is to it. I do stream 5 nights a week here on Twitch, Sunday to Thursday. Yeah, guys, once again, thank you so much for being here. After I leave the show, Lukey, I believe we'll be doing a bit of a thing, as usually do, and continuing the stream on from here, hanging on from here. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for hanging out in Streamaholics. Thank you so much for, you know, telling your stories, asking your questions, and I hope that we've really helped. And as always, I'm going to do a little bit of a pose, and then I'm going to leave. So thank you guys very much for being here.
Yeah, cheers,
and
guys.
We'll see you next time.
Thank you very much. I'll be back in a few minutes. Hey, legend. Thanks for watching the show. If you want to make sure that you're across all of the Game On Aus content here on YouTube, make sure you click the subscribe button. Likes and comments also help us out in the long run. Cheers. I'll see you on the next one.